Have you ever paused in your tracks, staring at the most unlikely friendship you could imagine, wondering how on earth it came to be? Picture this, a sleek, independent cat, ruling his little kingdom with regal calm, suddenly paired with a tiny meerkat, an animal bred for the vast, sun-baked deserts of Africa. At first glance, they seem like star-crossed opposites, destined to be wary of each other, perhaps even adversaries. Yet here we are, about to dive into a tale so surprising and tender that it melted hearts from Moscow to Melbourne. Today we're exploring how Nice, a dignified household cat, and Sua, an energetic baby meerkat, defied every expectation to become inseparable friends, an astonishing bond born in the warmth of a cozy Russian home that captured the imaginations of thousands around the globe. Ready to uncover how their worlds collided and merged into one beautiful story? It all unfolded in a quiet, unassuming town in Russia, where the crisp winter air gives way to gentle sunbeams on frosted window panes. Inside one snug little house lived a woman named Katerina, a 45-year-old with the soul of a lifelong animal advocate. Her heart already belonged to Nice, an 8-year-old cat whose grey fur shimmered like soft moonlight. Nice was the sort of cat who knew his worth. Calm, independent, and self-assured, he spent his days perched by the window, absorbing every golden ray of sunlight as if it were a precious treasure. He moved through life at his own pace. Silent observer of the world outside, content in his solitude. But fate had a surprise in store that would turn his tranquil routine upside down. Can you imagine how serene life might shift in an instant? Katerina's adventure began on a day she hadn't planned for. An impromptu visit to the local petting zoo, just a quick detour on her afternoon errands, would change everything. As she strolled past familiar enclosures, her eyes fell upon a tiny creature darting around its pen with boundless energy. There, amidst the gentle bleating of goats and the contented grunts of pigs, was a baby meerkat, twisting and turning like a playful flame in the breeze. His little paws scratched at the straw, his bright eyes sparkled with curiosity, and his chirps rang out like laughter. Born in captivity and far from the arid sands his ancestors once roamed, this meerkat exuded a spirit so lively and warm that Katerina found herself drawn in by an invisible thread. Was it destiny or simply a mother's intuition, urging her to act? You might wonder what pushes someone to uproot their life for a creature so unfamiliar. Well, here's where the story turns bold. After circling his enclosure again and again, Katerina made a decision that fluttered her heart with both excitement and trepidation. She would adopt this little meerkat, whom she named Sui, meaning abresa in a language that felt as fitting as the whisper of his chirp. Carrying him home felt like cradling a fragile miracle, and as she tucked him securely into her car, she couldn't shake a question that drummed in her mind. How would Nice, the master of this realm, react to an unexpected houseguest with more energy than a summer thunderstorm? Everyone knows cats can be territorial. Would he see Sua as a threat, a competitor for affection and space, or perhaps something to be pounced upon? Katerina's nerves danced with every bump in the road as she headed back to her cozy living room, where two very different lives were about to collide. Will the meeting go as she hoped, or end in hisses and fur-flying chaos? The moment of truth arrived as she opened the door and gently set Sua down on the living room rug. Nice, lounging like a statue on his favourite armchair, opened one eye and regarded the newcomer with a kind of cautious royalty only a cat could muster. Sua, ever the social explorer, chirped in greeting, his tail flicking like a metronome, sir. Their eyes locked. Nice, still as marble, and Sua, a whirlwind of curiosity, inching closer with tiny steps, amplified by the silent hum of anticipation. Katerina held her breath, caught between. Could this tiny desert dweller charm a seasoned house cat into friendship? In that held moment, the future of their companionship balanced on a razor's edge until something unexpected happened next. That evening, as shadows lengthened and the room glowed with the soft light of a single lamp, a transformative moment unfolded. Nice, curled up on the couch like a moonlit loaf of dough, was absorbed in his own dreams when Sua, emboldened by instinct and loneliness, decided to take a risk. With deliberate slowness, he climbed the couch's edge, each tiny paw planted carefully, as if walking a tightrope. Katerina, hovering just out of view, could feel her heart hammering against her ribs. Would Nice throw him off? Lean in to hiss? But instead, Nice's ear flicked, the only motion betraying his awareness, And then he settled back, as though granting Sua permission to share his space. A quiet miracle, no growl, no swipe. Encouraged, Sua nestled beside Nice, his warm body radiating light against the cat's cool fur. That single, silent moment was the spark that ignited an extraordinary friendship, one neither human nor animal could have scripted. And from here, they say, everything changed. Once the ice was broken, Nice and Sua became inseparable companions, following each other through every corner of their shared world. Mornings began with synchronized stretches, Nice arching his back in regal poise, Sua mimicking the motion with a feisty spin. Their mealtimes mirrored a graceful dance, side by side at their dishes, crunching kibble and scooping mealworms as though rehearsed. Afternoons transformed into high-speed chases across the living room floor where Sua's quicksilver movements challenged Nice's measured pounces. The air filled with the pitter-patter of tiny feet and the soft thud of paws, two beings from distant worlds weaving a new rhythm together. And when their energy finally ebbed, they collapsed in a tangle of whiskers and fur, breathing in unison. Proof that friendship can rewrite the rules of nature. But their bond held even more surprises. Despite being the smaller and seemingly more vulnerable of the two, Sua took on a protective role that touched Katerina's heart in ways she never expected. At the slightest approach, whether a curious visitor or an overzealous pat, Sua would spring to Nice's side with a flurry of chirps and squeaks, nudging the cat away from perceived danger. It was as though the meerkat had appointed himself regal bodyguard, unconsciously swapping the typical predator-prey roles. Katerina often found herself chuckling at this dramatic twist. A pint-sized watchman shielding his larger friend. Their dynamic was a vivid reminder that love and loyalty don't follow simple rules. They leap over boundaries, rewrite expectations, and forge new paths. Could you imagine a protector smaller than his charge, yet braver than any knight in shining armor? Their unique rapport was only growing deeper. Playtime soon became a cherished ritual bursting with energy and affection. Sua, like a spark igniting a dry forest, would launch into erratic sprints, zigzagging between furniture legs, springing off cushions, and creating a joyful uproar that echoed like distant thunder. Nice, though less frantic, joined in with playful swipes and measured hops, their contrasting styles blending into a delightful performance. The room became a stage, the two stars co-directing a show of boundless enthusiasm. And when the final act concluded, they drift into a serene quiet, curling up in each other's arms as if to press pause on the world outside. In those tender moments, the house filled with the soft rhythm of contented purring and faint meerkat chirps, a lullaby of shared trust. A lullaby of shared trust. You'd swear time slowed down, holding its breath to honor the magic between them. Word of their extraordinary friendship couldn't stay contained within the walls of Katerina's home. She began sharing snapshots and short videos of Nice and Sua on social media. Moments of them cuddled together on the couch, mid-chase across the rug, or locked in their protective embrace. Each post carried a simple caption celebrating the power of connection, when worlds collide and hearts unite. Viewers from every corner of the planet fell in love with the duo at once. Comments poured in, filled with emojis and exclamations. This is too precious. My heart! Why can't humans be like this? The posts spread like wildfire, turning Nice and Sua into overnight sensations. Their story became a beacon of hope, proof that friendship knows no species, and that sometimes the most unlikely pairs can teach us the greatest lessons. What began as a quiet corner of the internet became a global community, united by a tiny cat and a baby meerkat. As public fascination grew, so did the depth of their message. Nice and Sua's friendship wasn't simply about pets entertaining viewers. It was a living testament to the idea that differences don't have to divide us. Here was a case study in unconditional trust, a desert-born meerkat and a home-raised cat, bound by warmth and respect. Their interactions whispered a universal truth, that love can bridge any divide, whether between animals or people. In the gentle rise and fall of their shared breaths, Katerina saw a reminder of the beauty in unexpected connections. If a cat and a meerkat can find harmony, perhaps we all have the capacity to look past our differences and reach out with open hearts. And so, as thousands clicked to follow to witness their daily adventures, the world watched and learned. Now, as we come to the close of this heartwarming journey, let me ask you, have you ever encountered a friendship that made you question what you thought possible? Perhaps you've seen two pets from opposing camps become inseparable, or witnessed an unlikely duo, humans included, bridge a gap you never thought could be crossed. We'd love to hear your stories too. Share in the comments below your name, your pet's name, and the tale of your own remarkable bond. Who knows, your story might be the spark that ignites someone else's hope, just as Nice and Sua's friendship lit up the world. But before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the extraordinary relationships unfolding all around us. After all, you never know what incredible friendship is waiting just around the corner. One that will surprise, delight, and inspire you all over again.